What's going on, guys? In this video, it's an interesting topic. The other day, someone asked me what to do if they don't have money to buy beef, because I said how much I love beef. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give you guys a few protein sources that are pretty cheap, relatively cheap in most countries, that will help you build some muscle mass and also not hurt the wallet. All right, so let's jump straight into it. Number one, tuna cans in water. All right, I'm a big fan of tuna cans, and don't tell me mercury this, that. Guys, if you're not eating 10 tuna cans a day, you don't need to worry about mercury much. All right, so tuna cans in water. Why in water and not in oil? I'm trying to lean down, I'm trying to cut down, but if you're someone, and I'm on prep, so it's not ideal for me to add calories just from oil, but if you're someone that's trying to bulk up, go ahead, feel free to go for the tuna cans that are more in oil or the ones that are flavored whatsoever. But for me, tuna cans in water, it's at the, I'm not gonna lie, I get the one that is, so there's the cheapest one, which is $1. You can find it at the dollar store. I don't like those ones. I prefer going for the ones that taste a bit better. This one is $2. My favorite one is called the Rio. Rio, it's like a pink box. That's the best, but that's like $4 for one tuna can. This is $2, 120 grams of meat, all right, which is pretty good. 120 grams of meat, lean meat, tuna, you're getting easily 30 grams of protein, easily. Half for, yeah, let's say 27 grams of protein for the whole thing for $2. Pretty good coming from tuna. All right, tuna cans in water every single day. I make myself a tuna salad in the evening. I put 2 of those, which is $4. A bit of veggies, give or take $5 for the veggies. So let's say a big, huge salad is costing me $9. Pretty good, right? Tuna cans, guys. Tuna cans. Number 2. All right. I have the milk, this one here, but it's not necessarily this one. But guys, if you're not lactose intolerant, or you can just have lactose-free milk, well, milk is a pretty good source of protein. All right, whey protein comes from milk. For 1 cup, you have 10 grams of protein for 1 cup of milk. So it's still a fairly good amount of protein that you're getting just from consuming milk. So if you're not lactose intolerant, or you can find lactose-free milk, there's a milk called Fairlife, which is higher in protein. Guys, don't fear it, all right? If you're not lactose intolerant, milk has been having a bad reputation, but we've been drinking milk for thousands of years. So if you're not lactose intolerant, go for milk. It's a good source of protein, pretty cheap. That thing is $2 for 1 liter. So let's say half of it is 50 cents for 10 grams of protein, pretty good. Number 3, I have here egg whites, all right? The whole bottle of egg whites has 30 egg whites, and it cost me $9. So 1 kilo's 30 egg whites, $9, pretty good. If you're someone that's trying to keep that fat intake low, go for egg whites. It's pretty cheap. You can make yourself a nice egg white omelet, or also adding whole eggs. All right, 12 whole eggs, $5 or $4.50, whatever. I will have, let's say, 4 eggs for a breakfast, which is the third of $5. That's $1.50 give or take. $1.50 give or take for 4 eggs. That will give you, let's say, each egg give you 6-7 grams of protein. 4 times 6, 25 grams for $1.50. You want more protein? Add a bit more egg whites, and there you have a huge omelet, guys. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to. Trust me, before I could afford steak, that's what I was doing. I was doing tuna and pasta. That was most of my dish, and eggs and egg whites and a lot of milk. Trust me, at a certain point, I used to go to the casino with my friend just because they had coffee unlimited, and in the coffee unlimited, next to it, there's a little bar where you can put milk and creamer. I used to just go there to have milk. I swear to God, I would put 5 cups of milk and just drink them. That's as broke as I was, and I just wanted to get my protein in. Moving on. I have many proteins, and that's why I chose this one, because I have another one that says ISO, but I wouldn't go for the ISO. If you're someone that's on a budget, go for a whey protein. That whole thing, 30 scoops for $40. 1 scoop is 27, maybe 24 grams of protein. Guys, $2 for 24 grams of protein. It's a no-brainer. All right, protein powder is not necessarily wrong. People always fear it because they think that it's a chemical thing made in a laboratory by scientists that are tasting it on rats or whatever. No, it's protein. It's dehydrated milk powder without the fat in there. All right, having a protein shake is not necessarily bad. It has been demonized, that I myself, honestly, at the beginning, I used to tell people, no, just eat real food, forget the protein. But now that I'm on diet and I'm really making sure that my macros have to be on point, protein shakes are a lifesaver for me. Super convenient. They taste pretty good when you want something sweet, and pretty cheap. Moving on, Greek yogurt. Now you might say, well, Greek yogurt is a little bit more expensive. All right, so first thing, for 175 grams of Greek yogurt, which is nothing. 175 grams is like 10 spoons. Not much, right? You're getting almost 20 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. Greek yogurt is packed with protein, low fat, low carbs. Now, if you're someone that's very much on a budget, well, it's simple. Go for a regular yogurt. This one was $9 because it's a liter, a kilo. But you can go for a regular yogurt. When I was broke, thank God, now I'm able to afford those things. Seriously, sometimes I gotta pinch myself because I go to the grocery store and I just buy whatever I want. And thank God, I don't need to necessarily be looking at the price too much. Of course, I'm not gonna abuse it, but that's my biggest spending, to be honest. I spend most of my money on food. But anyways, when I was a bit more broke, well, I'm not broke. When I was broke, and many jobs and working and studying and this and that, well, I used to go for a regular yogurt. Regular yogurt, I used to go for the plain and no fat. Yes, it does have a bit more carbs from the sugar that comes from milk, but it's all right. It's not a big deal. All right, the protein was also pretty high, and it's okay. Sometimes what I like doing is adding 1 scoop of protein in my yogurt, mix it all up, and it tastes amazing. So guys, other stuff that are not necessarily high protein that you can still get is oatmeal, bananas. Oatmeal is pretty cheap, I got this yesterday, the whole thing, for $3. 1 kilo for $3. You don't necessarily need to get the most famous brands like Quaker Oats or whatever. All right, you can always get away with things that are a bit less of a brand, but still does the same thing. It's oatmeal, right? So guys, it doesn't need to be super expensive. Having a bodybuilding diet doesn't need to be, and building muscle doesn't mean that you need to eat the steak. I know we see the Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, and the famous influencers eating the sushi and this and that and the steaks, but it doesn't need to be that way. All right, start with what you have. Start and slowly build it up. As your salary increases, then maybe you can swap the tuna for chicken breast and eventually go for red meat, steak. I'm a big fan of steak, big fan of red meat, just because it has a lot of nutrients. And I'm not gonna tell you that tuna is as nutritious as a steak. I'm not gonna tell you that a regular yogurt is as nutritious as Greek yogurt, but you gotta start somewhere and then build it all up. Better doing that than just doing nothing. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, let me know. Let me know whatever content you want to see from me. And I'll see you soon. Ciao.